Everyone. Thanks for joining me, and welcome to another episode of Data Driven Value, where we bring you the tools and the knowledge to help you take your financial freedom into your own hands. Today, we're also going to look at some news as well that is affecting markets. Pretty much right away, we take a look again at our crypto heat map just to get an idea of the overall asset class. So definitely seeing a lot of red here. There is some green that we're going to take a look at here. Obviously, Bitcoin just a little bit green on the day. The major one we're seeing is Solana, so up almost 18% on the day. And then I'm sure you're also noticing this Trump coin. So we'll get into that as well. But generally what we're seeing is Bonk, Jupe, Pith. This coin down here is a Solana coin. Radium is a Solana coin. So we're seeing lots of strength in the Solana ecosystem due to this coin right here. And we're going to get into that in a second. But obviously, we are seeing a massive rotation of capital from other altcoins back into Solana and its respective ecosystem. So interesting to see there. Obviously, this coin that I'm talking about right now, we do see that Trump has launched an official meme coin. So we all wanted a strategic Bitcoin reserve, but it looks like Trump's going to give us a meme coin reserve. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Also, we'll get a little bit more into kind of the tokenomics of this, break it down as well. But essentially, this thing is about 12 hours old, 13 hours old, and it's already broken above. So it went to about a $34 billion market cap. So that's insane. We see here 15,700% in 24 hours. Just a crazy move. We're seeing basically everyone dumping their other coins and trying to ape into this thing. We do see, obviously, very high risk. It's just kind of been up and to the right. Breaking it down a little bit more here, we see there's sourced to 24 billion. So that's actually an all-time high of 34 to 35 billion now. Announced via Trump's Twitter and Truth Social accounts. Trump coin features the slogan, fight, 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 blah, blah, blah. I don't really care about any of that. There was skepticism immediately following the post, many assuming that the accounts were compromised, which I kind of thought as well at the time. We have seen SEC accounts compromised as well as other government officials compromised in the past. So not out of the realm of possibility to assume that that was actually a compromised account. However, posts have been live for posts have been live for 13 hours now. No follow-up statement or anything indicating anything to the contrary. The token is Solana based, already climbed again, market cap of 34 billion. And we also see that Solana's native token, Sol, is up to 10% at the time of this article. It's actually up 18% now. Talking a little bit kind of about the tokenomics of this, they do raise some alarming bells here. 80% is owned by one wallet, so that's pretty insane distribution there. Public distribution 10%, liquidity 10%. As far as I know, that liquidity isn't locked either. So 80% owned by one wallet, liquidity not necessarily locked, and when you actually go to the website and look up the address of the business, it comes up as a UPS location. So you can obviously see why there was some skepticism. That being said, we'll kind of dive a little bit more into that. We'll touch a little bit more on the tokenomics. We see a total supply of 200 million Trump tokens available on launch, growing to 1 billion over 3 years. So looking at about a 5 times dilution over the next 3 years in this token. 80% is allocated across 6 creator and CIC digital groups that begin unlocking after 3 to 12 months and vest over 24 months. So obviously see here a profit black box. The Trump meme coin ties back to the CIC Digital LLC. So yeah, we see the CIC digital groups here. This is a Trump-owned entity, and it's previously overseen the sale of Trump-branded NFTs, sneakers, and other merchandise. So he obviously does have a financial incentive for this project here. He owns the parent company that has the majority of that supply. So yeah, we will watch that going forward. We see here the CIC Digital generated over 7 million in licensing revenue last year. If they look to do any kind of licensing deal with this Trump meme coin, then we could see some crazy revenues generated from that. They do warn that the model of licensing Trump's name to external companies without clear oversight does create a black box where profits and partnerships remain largely hidden. So yeah, there is a lot of ambiguity in this meme coin. How it was launched was kind of interesting. Just, yeah, that blanket tweet, no follow-up or anything like that, and then kind of just left up to other people to either take that risk or kind of wait and see what came of it. So I took a small position. I treated it like a lottery ticket. So expecting my money to basically go to zero, there was a high probability of a rug pull, just kind of looking at those initial tokenomics, as well as the likelihood that it was potentially a hack. But now it's looking better. Obviously, without the follow-up, they're not really concerned. If there was actually compromised, they would have gotten control of that account and addressed the issue right away. But obviously, yeah, Trump still doing well, coming down a little bit from that all-time high. Yeah, we are starting to finally see a decent little bit of selling pressure, but maybe just similar to here and here. We will see if we can't ride this even further. So I also mentioned, yeah, we were in here. If we take a look, basically, I'll go to my profile here. I did mention that I had got into this position right here 12 hours ago. Yeah, we are living in a simulation. When I saw this, I was pretty surprised. It's already far surpassed Pepe, which is one of the most known memes in all of the internet. I did buy a little bit. Again, it was a lottery ticket amount. I got in luckily at about $3 billion market cap. Seeing all those alts and everything just bleeding to Solana and Trump. Again, I was ready to lose this. It's a lottery ticket. It's likely going to go to zero. But I was pleasantly surprised to wake up and see that we have actually kind of put in new highs. So we were buying. I bought a position kind of just down here. Luckily, I was fast. I saw that tweet, and then I kind of bought that little lottery ticket. But done amazingly, multiple X's already, even since my post here when I posted at 8 billion, or just shy of 8 billion, still up like 3 to 4x from that post. I've already pulled out my initial as well as some profit on top of that, and then I do have a moon bag left in there. So really just securing your profits as they come, especially when they come that quick. They can also disappear that quick. So yeah, I pulled my initial investment, I took some profits, and now I've got a free position to ride. I don't really care what happens to it. If it goes to zero, that's part of the game. I've made my money in this trade. Otherwise, again, the purpose of the moon bag is just to ride any further potential uptrend kind of. Yeah, so not overexposing ourselves because this is a highly risky meme coin, and then securing our profits as soon as we can. Moving on. I'm not really interested kind of in buying anymore right now. I'm just going to ride my moon bag. Yeah, this thing just did crazy things right out of the gate. I don't really know. We don't have any proper support. It's only about 12, 14 hours old. So yeah, we're not getting too crazy or aggressive in this one, but we'll just watch it and kind of see what happens. And then, yeah, we've got our lottery ticket. We'll see where that takes us. Taking a look now, kind of more bullish news again for Bitcoin and crypto, looking at David Sack.
The reign of terror against crypto is over. And the beginning of innovation in America for crypto has just begun.
Yeah, so definitely bullish wording there from David Sachs. He is a good friend of Trump. He's really pushing for Bitcoin, crypto, and AI. And yeah, definitely we do see the reign of terror is over. So nice to see that Gary and all of his antics, as well as Biden and their repeated attacks on the industry, are likely coming to an end, and a new era has just begun. So obviously focusing a lot on crypto and not Bitcoin. Again, I would have liked to see the administration kind of just focusing on Bitcoin and Ethereum. They're the only tried and true assets of the space, in my opinion. Even Solana is very new, and the tokenomics are questionable, and they do have issues with congestion and downtime in the past. We'll see kind of how they perform during the mania phase here. So when we start to actually get to see more investors showing up to the space, then we're likely going to start to see some of the cryptos start outperforming. Generally, altcoins don't necessarily perform that well until we start seeing more liquidity show up to the space, and that's kind of what we refer to as the mania phase. kind of when the normies start showing up and buying crypto here. So taking a look at the markets, obviously pretty red across the board. Everything's red except for the Solana ecosystem. Bitcoin dominance has a nice bump up here on this rotation of capital, and Solana obviously performing very well. So we did see this nice breakout by Bitcoin, kind of came into this horizontal support here. Yeah, watching this. Worst case, we look for our entry, kind of a longer, like a cycle accumulation. So anything sub 95.5, 95.6, you're going to be looking at building a position again in Bitcoin, kind of again down to that 92.6 region, looking to capitalize on that higher low and then continued uptrend. Alternatively, we could see price just come back. This would be a higher risk trade here. We might just see it, yeah, kind of come back to the low hundreds, high 90s before we kind of go and try to attack that all-time high. So we'll be watching here for an entry kind of right around 100,000, as well as down towards the lower 90s, kind of between 92, 93. So Bitcoin looks good. Yeah, still breaking out. Nice, we've taken out this high, so we are able to actually try and reverse our structure and continue to the upside. Obviously, taking a look at dominance in this wedge, just pushing into it. Looks like it wants to break out. Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised to see dominance really break out here, especially considering the weakness we're seeing across alts. Solana's really just sucking in the liquidity from everything. So yeah, we expect dominance to kind of break out and then attack this high here. I do expect kind of a lower macro high or double top type scenario anywhere in this region here. Just keeping in mind, if dominance does break out, then alts are likely to continue bleeding in the very near term. So yeah, we're watching this, seeing how that kind of reacts. We'll take a quick look at ETH USD. Coming back down, it did tag our 0.5 of the low time frame Fibonacci level. We did get rejected kind of by this down-sloping trend line here. And then, yeah, so if you're looking at a swing position, essentially on the slightly higher time frame, again, we're going to target that Fibonacci golden zone between 2,700 and about 3,000. If you're looking for a low time frame swing trade, I would kind of be looking, again, just at a slightly higher region here. So 3,150 down to about 3,050 would be the higher risk entry here. You're looking to kind of get in on that higher low. Again, we would attack this trend line here, but saving larger buys for lower targets down here. It's always going to be a little bit safer. Take a little bit of a look at ETH Bitcoin. Looks not good. Unfortunately, we have broke down again. We've lost our prior low here. So we're just continuing our downtrend structure. Unfortunately, we've been in this structure since the merge. Yeah, not great for ETH. Still just coming down here. Big long downtrend. Maybe we'll tag this 0.03 level for ETH Bitcoin and hopefully maybe try to find some support here. But again, we're not, if you're looking to swap Bitcoin to Ethereum, I argue you're at this range, it's pretty good. Like, we're in strong support, but just with the relative weakness from ETH, it has been very discouraging. We could even just keep going down. Maybe we do something like this. So if you are swapping to ETH from Bitcoin, just recognize that this is a potential if you were to do it right now. Alternatively, again, what I like to do, wait till we found that support, wait till we've reversed our structure, and then get in on that higher low. So right around here, though it's going to give you a worse entry from a sheer entry point or whatever from price perspective, but at the same time it gives you a bit more confirmation that we are likely to reverse and go up. That way you're not kind of buying right here and then ultimately breaking down, getting rejected, and that's what we call buying a falling knife. So we're trying to avoid that. Total 3 alts, yeah, they're all kind of hurting today. Total 3 USD, actually not too bad. Coming back, retesting this support here. May have the potential to bounce here, but again, we're probably targeting kind of this Fibonacci zone here. If we do rechase it, then we are back within this down sloping consolidation phase. So just watching that, we do see others dominance. It broke or got rejected up here on this trend line, and then watching for it to come back down, print that higher low, and then get another attempt at this trend here. Let's see, our others USD, sorry about that, and then yeah, other dominance. So we do see it just trying to bounce here. We'll take a look. RSI, MACD look good. We do have a pretty heavy volume shelf here. So again, I just think we're due for more consolidation before we're actually able to break out and continue up for the broad altcoin market. Looking at Solana, obviously strongest on the day. Looking at the 4-hour, though, the RSI super toppy here. MACD looks like it's just starting to kind of curl and top out. Pretty like decent little red candle there. Right in resistance. So Solana on the very near term looking a little overbought. We do see on the hourly this massive candle here. So definitely sellers are taking profits on this move here. Expecting a bit of a retracement back to some of our lower levels, which might offer an additional entry, but definitely interesting to note that we do have a lot of sellers here, and on the low time frame we're quite overheated. So we'll flip over to the daily. It's still going to look good on the daily, obviously. MACD just kind of flipping into that positive territory. RSI getting kind of up towards the overbought territory, but still not quite there. And then traditionally has topped kind of further up here. So we do see there is potential for this move to continue on the daily in the coming weeks. But because of that low time frame weakness, we're really just going to look for that quick retracement back to test support and then continue higher. So my target for this region in the near term, I'm going to include the 0.5 Fibonacci just because of the relative strength of Solana right now, as well as the potential ETF hype coming in on the new administration. So looking at 215 down to about 190, that's going to kind of be in that zone of horizontal support as well as support of this downsloping trend line, looking to kind of enter another swing position here. Moving on, we'll skip Binance for now. It's not super actionable in my opinion. We're still waiting for a bit of a bottom confirmation on the Bitcoin pair for Binance. So we'll look at Doge. Here we do see our higher low, higher high. So again, we want to print that higher low just to continue our chances of uptrend or reversal. So we see this horizontal support coming in with confluence at our 618. Looking to kind of add or build a short-term Doge position between 35.7 down to about 34 cents. If this was strictly a swing position, you would have your stop loss kind of underneath this support down here. Otherwise, I would start building mine here. So small buys kind of right around here. Ultimately looking to potentially capitalize on a larger retracement back to the high time frame Fibonacci golden zone. So again, that's going to be from about 26 cents down to about 21 cents or so. So a little swing position here and then accumulating Doge for the remainder of the cycle in this region if the market allows it. We'll take a quick look at the Bitcoin pair. Obviously looking good, still holding that higher low structure and has broken the high. So Bitcoin pair looks good. We'll just wait for a bit more of a retracement on the USD pair just to get a bit of a better entry. Looking at Cardano, another one kind of just trading in a bit of this range. It tried to break out here, a little deviation, and then kind of wicked out here. But essentially just kind of lots of support and resistance through here. We do see it rejecting again from that resistance, and our likely area of entry is going to be the 618, so kind of under $1 down to about 94 cents. You might look for a little entry there. Ultimately, though, saving larger buys kind of for this lower support. And we do kind of have to recognize the broader risk of a potential high time frame breakdown. So we'll take our Fibonacci retracement here, and then we'll just mark our golden zone on the high time frame as well. Right there, something like that. So playing this low time frame, higher risk, medium time frame, medium risk, high time frame, lower risk accumulation down here. We'll follow these as we kind of come into them, but interesting to see. ADA, we'll just wait again for it to kind of come back to a potential entry. Otherwise, we'll analyze the price action. Alternatively, we could see something play out like this, where we just break out and then we retest this support and continue higher. If that were to happen, then we adjust our strategy and we look for the entry either on this retest of support, or we just pull our Fibonacci slightly differently and then we look for where the golden zone lines up on that one. But that's ADA. AVAX, a lot of these are going to look pretty similar, kind of very similar price action. We do see, again, this rejection from resistance. Unfortunately, we've lost our low, we've lost our high. My next probable target, again, is going to be that lower low. It's probably going to coincide somewhere in this 786 region. Before that, and then we're going to look kind of to reverse that to the upside. We've also got this long upsloping trend line. So kind of looking to build a position in AVAX from 25 to about $30, something like that. If we do come down, yeah, good value for the cycle. Again, all these buys, I'm going to reserve cash for lower targets. I'm never fully deploying my cash. What I want to do is take advantage of some of these swing opportunities. When the profits do come, you book those profits and then you put those profits into your cash position, in which you wait, and then when that cash position is then used to acquire the next setups. So essentially all we're trying to do is compound the gains, and then we're taking our shorter term higher risk trades and profits as they come, booking those and then putting those into a cash position, whether you hold that in a high interest savings account or you hold it in some other some more risk-free investments. It's really up to you, your own strategy. But ultimately, we're saving our cash for those larger retracements of our more convicted assets. So how I like to play alts is essentially trading alts on a swing trade or more of a short-term basis. That being said, I might hold alts for a few weeks, months. But really, I'm not married to any altcoin, and the end strategy is to always increase the overall amount of Bitcoin I have. So we're trying to take advantage of these little periods of outperformance, book those gains, and then wait for the retracements to come in our long-term holds, in which case we deploy our cash into those holds and we wait for those to realize their gains. But moving on, so yeah, we got AVAX here. Again, $30 down to about 25. I'm going to look to build a bit of a position there. We see Chainlink actually was able to break out of this downtrend, so looking a little bit stronger than some of the other alts. Chainlink fundamentally is one of the best altcoins. It definitely actually has use case. It's going to be one of the biggest in terms of RWA, so real world assets going forward. I wouldn't be surprised to see it kind of included in a crypto first ETF if we do see one of those. But again, we pull our Fibonacci. We do see that confluence kind of here on the 786 with the slightly higher time frame 786. So yeah, looking here, obviously, if we do get down to 1950, it's going to be a decent buy-in for Chainlink, in my opinion. Kind of $21 would be that higher risk short-term swing trade. And then 1670, we would look at maybe adding there, as well as maybe just kind of here. Obviously, we have all this support through here, as well as that confluence in the middle of this golden zone. So we've just got a few different levels here that we're watching. Yeah, obviously high risk, low time frame, slightly lower risk. Again, this is our medium risk kind of play down here, assuming that we aren't going to go in a major market correction, and then kind of a worst case scenario if we do come back to a $10 AVAX and the overall cycle structure still looks good, then I might be looking at a bit of a position down here. But again, yeah, we will try to build a little swing position in this region right here. Moving on to SUI. SUI looks good, obviously in this uptrend. It's broken kind of out of this into its own little parallel channel. We're stuck in here on the low time frame. Oversold on the daily. RSI, MACD will both look good. So you see here, obviously we'll take a little bit closer look at the low time frame on the hourly. So hourly, MACD, and RSI both also look good. I do think we would probably be able to take out this high here. So we'll just mark a little bit of resistance. Essentially what I want to see us do, break out maybe up to this trend line here. I would come back down like this, something like that. Yeah, and then generally if that were to play out and it were to get rejected kind of at this resistance, that's kind of where the Fibonacci would line up, and it would be a golden zone retrace. So again, we'll wait for it to actually top, and then we'll pull our Fibonacci to get that accurate golden zone. That's kind of what I'm looking at for SUI. Otherwise, I'm looking at accumulating kind of down here between $4.20 and $4. SUI has been a really good performer this cycle, and a lot of people are speculating that it is essentially the Solana of last cycle. So we'll watch that one going forward, and it also is a US-based crypto, so it does have that little factor where it might see some favorable regulations kind of in the coming weeks or months. Pepe, breaking down here. So I did have this marked as a potential trade. I'm not, it's interesting just because we have kind of broken a little bit below this trend line. We do have a stop loss there if we were, but we'll get rid of that for now. We'll just take a look at the daily chart on Pepe. Obviously broken out there. RSI curling back down, a little bearish. Just based on that, we'll take a look at the 12-hour. Also doesn't look the best. 4 hour, yeah, we do have a little bit of room still to come down more. So I think Pepe, not really actionable right now either. We're just gonna watch it. I do think we might see something like this. We break back below, and then we're now contending with this as resistance. Just based on the weakness we've seen in Ethereum relative to the other altcoins, and Pepe is an Ethereum-based meme coin. So obviously for Pepe to really outperform, I think ETH needs to durably bottom as well as outperform. Going on to Brett. Brett is the main, or one of the biggest meme coins on Base. It kind of has to do with one of the founders of Base is his one of his dogs. But we do see, yeah, this long downtrend, again rejected. We are at that 786. So basically not a bad buy rate here necessarily. But we do recognize the overall market weakness with potential to kind of come down to these lower levels here. Worst case scenario kind of I think would be down towards this 50 or this 5.5 cent region. But yeah, so a little bit of a risky play if you were to take it here. I'm not really interested in Brett at this point. Again, if we take our trend line, what I want to see, and I talk about it all the time, is I want to break out and I want to retest, and then I want to get in right here on this retest before we continue up. Until we do that, essentially we're just in this continued downtrend for the time being. So we'll wait and see how that plays out. Toncoin also broke out, but looks to kind of be breaking back under this support. So I do expect we'd likely kind of come back here, maybe test this support zone again before hopefully getting a more durable bounce. Moving on, we'll take a look at NEAR. NEAR is another one, kind of AI focused. So we've got here, again, kind of rejected. We do have this downtrend. So trying to reverse it here. Didn't really work out. Ultimately broke down again. So expecting kind of something like that if the price action were to continue. We are at heavy resistance right through here. So definitely interesting to note. Coming into resistance rejection, not really what we want to see. Not getting kind of, we do have a bit of a double bottom here on NEAR for the USD pair. So maybe we see it come back down towards $4.75 to $4.85. If we can see a little bit of a bounce there, that might be a little swing position, but you would have a stop loss just underneath these lows just in case we do break them, and then we continue that downtrend structure. Polygon, Arbitrum, and Optimism all look very similar. We do see Optimism again kind of broke below support. retested it and got rejected. They're going to look pretty weak because Ethereum looks so weak, and these three are Ethereum layer 2s. So not really surprised to see them performing not very well. I'm going to wait for ETH to actually give a bit more, little bit more cues of a potential bottom before I really start looking at the layer 2s. Moving on to Render. So Render actually is a Solana-based coin as well. They migrated to Solana, but interesting to see they're down 8% as well. Take our trend line. Obviously, again, rejected. I think we just come back, maybe test some of these horizontal supports down here. So looking kind of sub $7 would be a short-term swing for Render, hoping to capitalize on the actual breakout move. Otherwise, if we do take a look on the higher time frame, we can kind of get a gauge of where we might return to. We'll take our Fibonacci from this swing low to this swing high. And then obviously, so right through here, there's a bit of confluence in the high time frame 618 with this horizontal support. And then we've also got our 786 right there. That's going to be our second buying level. Green. So yeah, if we see price come down to 580, that might be a good mid-cycle accumulation of Render. CAS, we'll zoom in here. CAS has been a pretty strong performer this cycle. This is just the Kraken chart, so it doesn't have the full price history, unfortunately. If you're looking for a short-term position on CAS, we do see not a double bottom, but a slightly higher low holding this macro support. We zoom into the 4-hour. We do see here pretty oversold, but there is a little room to kind of come down more. If we come down, kind of tag this 618, so like kind of the 12.7 cent down to about 12 cent region might be a little bit of a swing opportunity on CAS. Moving on to Tau BitTensor, again just rejected at resistance, so we'll pull our Fibonacci, and then this would be the near-term entry again. Kind of 440 down to about 420, but reserving our larger buys for down here. We do have pretty heavy support kind of in that level. Yeah, right through here. There's lots of support kind of towards 400. So ultimately saving larger buys for that level. Yeah, Fetch AI. We do see it kind of bouncing here from support, holding that higher low structure, holding that macro uptrend trend line there. So we're looking really good, looking a little bit stronger than some of the other ones. What I do want to see, I will zoom in here. Yeah, so looks like we might lose this low. We'll kind of watch this and see what happens. We just want to get back above this resistance here, and we want to continue that uptrend structure. So really want to see this high taken out. Otherwise, right now, I think I'm just leaning towards something like this playing out. In which case, we might look for our entry down in this zone. Yeah, that's looking at So interesting one. Been very strong recently. We'll take a look at it on the daily first. So we see here this huge breakout here. Big, long, sideways consolidation. A couple wicks out of it. There are a couple potentials. So either we get a bounce from here, and then we are able to continue back up, retest this as support and continue higher, or we're likely just to break down. So we'll take a look at the hourly and see if we can't see which is more likely in the near term. Yeah, so just into resistance again, R size kind of curling back down. Yeah, so just not actionable in my opinion right now. I'll just be waiting on Looking at Ondo. Ondo's been a underperformer kind of for the last month. I think a lot of that is due to some of the upcoming token unlocks, but generally we do see on the daily it's very oversold. But again, we're in that downtrend structure, unfortunately, of that higher lows and higher highs. So until we're able, either we do something like this, in which we're able to reverse that structure kind of to the upside. And again, we would look for our entry here on that reclaim of support. Otherwise, to me, right now, the most probable is likely just that continued downtrend, and maybe we test some lower support. yeah, so just keeping an eye on Ondo, not looking at any trades specifically right away, but watching that. Near also rejected by resistance, did bounce from support through here, but we do have that bearish engulfing candle, likely experiencing more downside. So Atom's not nothing too actionable there either. Taking a look at Pith, actually, one of the Solana coins, did kind of see it riding up this channel here. There was this insane wick here. I'm not really sure what happened there, but it was a crazy crash. That was like 75% in one wick, like one day. But again, bear flag, we've got that downtrend structure. We've retested the lower band of this support, and it looks to be rejecting. I would be looking kind of, if you're interested in Pith, I'd be looking down towards the low 20s for a position. Moving on, Celestia, kind of just, we'll take a look at the high time frame first. So we see here from a cycle perspective, this is kind of when it was airdropped, big run up, long downtrend, broke out. We're in this sideways consolidation phase. So I do think this green support zone down here is worth building a position for Celestia, kind of between $4.30 down to about $3.50. And then ultimately, we could even see a return kind of to the base price here. But yeah, ultimately looking to build that swing position for Celestia kind of right in that region. We take a look at Injective. Injective looks pretty good, actually. It looks stronger than some of the other coins. We'll take got a bit of our downtrend here. Broke out, retested this again. So if we take our Fibonacci even from here to here, we're still sitting at that 618. So in terms of a swing position, this actually looks better than some of the other ones. We are still sitting in decent value here while kind of maintaining those higher low structure. Yeah, so Injective looks pretty good, 618 down to the 786. Ultimately, we do have a lot of support through here. So if you're taking that swing position, maybe looking to kind of have a stop. If you can stomach it, a stop loss here, arguably, I mean, I think this is pretty good value for Injective, but I would be saving, again, more money for these lower support regions to add to it. Virtual, one we've been watching for a couple days now, just talking about it, has come into our entry zone at that 618. So we zoom in kind of to the 4 hour, pretty oversold on the 4 hour. Yeah, so coming back down, we got that 618 retrace. So you could enter a little bit here. Might be a little bit more weakness kind of down towards this actual 786. It might be due for a little bit more of a retracement than we're used to, kind of just based on the fact that it performed so well. So it went really overextended, and then again likely is due for a bit of more retracement. Not the worst place for a swing trade if you think the market's going to reverse from here. Unfortunately, I do believe there's going to be a little bit more volatility, so I'm not really rushing into any new positions right now. But watching Virtual, we did get a bit of an entry rate here. If it comes down to the 786, then I might add a little bit supplemental entry on top of what I have down here. Moving on to WIF. Interesting to see WIF because it is a Solana-based meme coin, not really performing as well as the others. And again, we're just getting rejected by resistance and likely going to come down a little bit more. So nothing really there too interesting. Looking at AIOZ, kind of an AI-related project, pretty good performer this cycle so far. We do have a lot of support all through here. So yeah, looking at AIOZ, just coming into our 618, it is a big bearish engulfing candle, as well as a bearish cross of the RSI. So it could be due, again, for a little bit more downside. We might come down to the 85-cent region, kind of down towards the 786. Look for a little swing position right there. Otherwise, if you have spot bags, then kind of 75 cents is where I'm looking for my first addition to a spot bag of AIOZ. And then alternatively, we pull the Fibonacci on this breakout, and then we see that 58 cents would be our next target, roughly. So looking to accumulate AIOZ on a swing basis in this region, if you believe that the market might have a little bounce. Otherwise, saving accumulation buys for these lower targets, 58 cents up to about 75 cents. Arrow, another one. one of the biggest dexes on Coinbase or on Base Chain. Sorry, we do see we are at that higher time frame 618. We're sitting above this little breakout of the golden zone here on this downtrend. A big bearish engulfing candle. RSI is not looking too good. Yeah, so just watching that one going forward, waiting for a bit better of an entry. Or even if we come down to this 88-cent region on the high time frame, that's going to look pretty good for a bit of an accumulation. If you kind of zoom out here on the weekly, gives you a bit of idea of what I'm targeting. So we saw here the initial rally to highs, coming back down to that 786 zone. As I mentioned, this golden zone, lots of the time it does get hit or retraced. So again, we're in a similar move here. We've held the macro lows. And again, we're just looking to get in on that golden zone retracement. So we're in it right now. Yeah, so on a cycle accumulation basis, Arrow, I would say, is a decent place to start building a position, but ultimately be prepared to experience a bit more downside towards that 90-cent range. Even if we go a little bit below the 786, we might be looking 80 to 90 cents could be a really good value for Arrow to capitalize on the next move up. And last but not least, we've got Say. So Say is one we've been looking at. We did have this kind of longer downtrend breakout as well as this high or this low time frame downtrend breakout. Holding macro support here. So really good price action from Say. I actually like it a lot. Yeah, support all through there. Zooming in to the 4-hour. Again, 4-hour looks good. Kind of broken out. We are still in a little bit of a downtrend. What I want to see is this print a higher low in the golden zone and then reverse taking out this high. If I were to essentially take a swing trade in this region here, my stop loss, I don't even know if I would use a stop loss. If I were to take a swing trade in this position here, just be very risk averse. If it were to kind of come back into this bigger high value time or high value zone, you might just look to kind of hold that swing and maybe add a little bit more on a kind of accumulation basis here. But Say looks good on that breakout. Kind of, yeah, going forward, another reason we were just looking at Say. We do see on the Bitcoin pair, if we look at the weekly chart, it is holding that macro low here. So I'm not too sure if it's going to hold over the next few days. We'll kind of be watching this one. So not really interested in taking that swing position on Say quite yet. I just want to see us hold that macro low on the Bitcoin pair, and then I might look at the USD entry. So one thing to note with altcoins, we essentially want them to outperform Bitcoin going forward. Otherwise, there's no real reason to be taking the excess risk in altcoins. So by going up here, we can kind of denominate what we're looking at our tickers at in terms of currency. So traditionally, you look at it on the USD pair. So you can also go here, flip to the Bitcoin pair, and then that's just going to value altcoins based on their Bitcoin pairs. Generally, you do want to see this with proper bottom structure or reversal structure, and then that is signaling that altcoin is likely to go on a period of outperformance against Bitcoin. The end goal of investing in altcoins for me personally is to increase the Satoshi valuation of my portfolio. So I'm kind of looking to capitalize on moves that outperform Bitcoin in the near term. And then I want to book those profits quick, move it to cash, and then get ready to have that cash available. So if we see a larger dip in kind of Bitcoin, if we were, let's say, the altcoins are pumping for a few weeks and we have a few trades that are in nice profit, but Bitcoin's been lagging and it looks a little weak, then we're going to look to secure those profits, wait for that dump, and then we're going to put those profits that we secured from our high risk trades into Bitcoin or something other low risk that we consider within our own strategy. So really just think about your portfolio in terms of risk. think about it in both the US dollar and the Bitcoin valuation of it, and then come up with a plan or a strategy. What are you trying to prioritize? Are you trying to prioritize US dollar gains? Are you trying to prioritize the Bitcoin gains? For me, I just want to stack as much Bitcoin as possible. So utilizing leveraged vehicles like altcoins and Bitcoin miners can really help you kind of capitalize on large volatile swings, but you have to make sure you book those profits as they come. Otherwise, you're not going to have the cash to take advantage of the dips in your long-term holds like in Bitcoin when they do come. So that's all really for today. If you have any chart requests, drop them in the comments below. If you learned something new or you like the content, please like, share, subscribe. It means the world to me. As always, everything we do here, we do it for you guys, and really excited for the future of this channel. So without further ado, I'll let you guys get on with the rest of your day. These have been the charts. And again, if you have any requests, questions, concerns, drop them in the comments below. I do read them all. So thank you very much, guys. Thanks for the support, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.